In today's gospel, we meet a Canaanite woman who challenges Jesus after his disciples have attempted to send her away when she's pleading for help for her daughter. Those of us who have come to know a Jesus who not only accepts but loves saints and sinners are surprised when we hear him say that he was sent to lend help only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Though the Canaanite woman knows she's not part of this group, she insists and says to Jesus, "Lord, help me." And he turns around and tells her it's not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs. But she continues to engage him and says to him, "Please, Lord, even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the table of their masters." Once again, what strikes us about this Jesus in his initial response to the woman is the way that he almost pushes her aside. But just as an icon invites us to change our first impressions through prayer, this story invites us to see all the different layers of Jesus. In this instance, it invites us to look at the human Jesus, the one who is like us, when we have perhaps decided to turn someone away because, like the Canaanite woman, we see in that person someone who is not like us. In the time of Jesus, the Canaanite woman, like so many others, was considered an outsider. So it wasn't surprising that the disciples wanted her gone. But then Jesus stepped in, he listened to her, and as a result of listening to her, his vision toward her changed. And he does exactly what he does throughout his life. He helped her. "O woman, great is your faith," he says to her. "Let it be done for you as you wish." In our time, Pope Francis asks that we do the same. In preparing Catholics around the world for the upcoming gathering known as the Synod, he refers to this way of including other people as expanding the tent. Like the Canaanite woman, there are many voices that have fought to be heard in our church. And in some instances, some of those voices and some of those people were sent away by those who mirror the attitudes of those early disciples who wanted to dismiss the woman. What Jesus calls us to do, however, is to mirror his actions, to listen, and by listening, to change the way we look at another person and to become inclusive of them. In the recent gathering of the world's Catholic youth in Portugal, Pope Francis said that the church is like a place without doors, designed that way so that everyone can come in. There's room in the church for everyone, for all. Para todos, 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 he said, using the words in Spanish for all, including those of us who make mistakes, who fall, or who struggle. And just as Jesus showed his disciples the way to build the kingdom of God is to be inclusive, we are being called to be inclusive to the outsiders in our lives, to change the way that we look at those with whom we may not share a political point of view, who are not of the same gender or age or come from another country or differ from us in so many different ways. We are called to include the Canaanite woman, or as the Pope said, we are called to include todos, todos, todos.